I'm Paolo Lopez. I've been an interior designer for around 12 years now. I've been working in the industry under NTT Global Limited, which is a tech company. And right now, the company is focusing on office fit outs, office construction, and basically technology and data cabling and management. Nung kabataan ko, I think common na pangarap ng mga bata noon, maging doctor, maging piloto. Ako, I wanted to be a pilot. So, as a kid, gusto ko sanang i-pursue yung pagiging piloto kasi naging interested ako sa mga airplanes. Yung lolo ko would often buy me books about it. He'd also give me yung mga metal planes na pamigay dati or mga souvenir from airplanes, especially during his trip overseas kasi madalas siyang umaalis because of his work. And I think doon nag-start ma-cultivate yung dream ko to become a pilot. Along the way, parang later on nalaman ko na I'm deathly afraid of heights. And hindi po pwedeng magsama ang fear of heights at pagiging piloto. So, dahan-dahan nag-shift yung kagustuhan ko sa karera. Unang-una, nagkaroon din naman ng interest, lalo na nung bata ko. I used to have a lot of Lego to play with. So parang from there, na-cultivate yung desire ko to build or design things. So parang dahan-dahan, it all started from there. So I guess magandang starting point yun for kids if you have mga pamangkin or mga anak. Lego is a good place to start to cultivate creativity sa mga bata. First of all, in terms of education, my parents and family made sure na I was given the chance to attend good schools. From the schools I went to in Manila until when I transferred to Zamboanga, I got quality education. But one of the few challenges that we encountered is yung season na there was lack in resources sa family. So parang I thought that was a game changer for me kasi parang in terms of my dreams and aspirations, I thought of limiting myself to what is practical and what is reachable. In terms of the kind of courses that I will take, in terms of what kind of future that I have, I thought yung financial situation namin back then would be a huge dictating factor of how my life will eventually pan out. The turning point for my choice of career is actually a funny story kasi it was fourth year high school, sorry. We were suddenly told, pagpasok ko ng umaga, madalas akong malate sa nung high school. Pagpasok ko nun, medyo maaga-aga ako. Biglang nagkaroon ng announcement na we had to fill out forms for UP, yung entrance exam. Tapos, that was my first time to think about ano yung magiging future ko. Kasi alam ko fourth year high school na ako. But I never really thought what I wanted to be, what I wanted to get. Basta I had this vague, very vague idea. Kasi nga na-mention ko nung kabataan, I wanted to build, I wanted to design, and I would often draw stuff. So, sabi ko, baka architecture is the way to go. And then, nung nakita ko na yung mga course code, kasi when you fill out your form, there's usually a course code that you have to put. And then, sabi ko, okay, sige, hahanapin ko yung course code ng architecture, try ko to. And then, there was this time na tinitignan ko yung poster ng UP kasi parang nakalagay doon yung mga course code eh. And I can't seem to find architecture at all. All my classmates told me nandun siya. Alam mo yung parang blinded ako on what it was, where it's located. And then, sabi ko nun, parang sabi ko, Lord, hindi ko alam ano yung meron sa future ko back then. I don't know what you had in store for me. Hindi ko alam what course I will take or what future you have. Pero magtitiwala ako. What you want me to do, where you want me to be, it'll be you who will dictate saan ako mapupunta. That was me praying deep inside kasi hindi ko alam anong gagawin ko eh. That was the first time I filled out an application form. And then, I recall I had this one classmate. Biglang niya akong tinabihan while I was looking at the form. Sabi niya sa akin, well, actually, hindi niya nga sinabi sa akin. She was just mentioning na parang maganda yung interior design. Parang architecture din yan. Without me asking her for her opinion. Out of nowhere, she was just standing beside me and just spoke it out loud. So sabi ko, Lord, is this a sign? Kasi parang that was divine providence na rin eh. Binigyan ako ng answer right there and then. And it had nowhere to come from except from the Lord, from the Holy Spirit. So sabi ko, okay, sige. I trusted. And then lo and behold, after taking the exam, pumasa ako. I got interior design as my first choice. I even wrote nursing as my second choice kasi that was the popular course back then. Tapos, I didn't get in sa nursing. Pero interior design, my first choice, nakapasok ako. And I even asked, before enrolling, I even asked, paano yung procedure shifting out, transferring? Can I still change it? Sabi, you have to finish 1 year. So sabi ko, naku patay, we can't afford extra year. So sabi ko, go ahead na, ituloy ko na. And that's where I found out na okay pala sa akin yung course na yun. And after a while, that's when I realized na I think God really meant for me to be in that position and place. Kasi up to now, I'm still in the same career. Hindi pa naman niya sinasabi sa akin na mag-shift out ako to a different path. Starting my career, wala akong naging inspiration or kumbaga parang wala akong figure to look at. Kasi this was an entirely new field. I graduated from a science high school. So, yung creative field talagang panibagong pasok siya. So, I didn't have any role model entering the course. Pero, as time went on, one of the people who really made an impact in terms of how I am right now as a professional is actually my first boss. My first boss is a renowned architect. He has been in the industry for quite some time. His dad is also one of the pioneers of interior design in the Philippines. And under him, I learned a lot in terms of how to design, how to manage clients. One of the things that he inspired me to do is to think outside of the box always in terms of designing. But he also made sure that even if we think outside of the box, we know how to build it. Kasi in design, it's never just a drawing. It has to be built. So there's a level of practicality then when it comes to designing. In a typical day, bale, kasi it will vary whether you are a freelance interior designer, you own a firm, or you are employed. So, a typical day of a designer would mean you would have to be doing multiple kinds of tasks ng sabay-sabay. Kasi most of the projects that you have will be in different levels or different phases na. So, some of the projects that you will have, you will still design, pag-iisipan mo pa how it will look, you will still conceptualize. At the same time, some of your projects would be also under construction. So you also have to do site inspections. And then some kailangan mo pa mag-shopping kasi you would also assist your client in purchasing furniture, equipment, choosing the right finishes. A lot of the very misconception about our course is, and this career is ano siya, it's paganda lang. But there is a lot of detail that comes to it. Kasi what is beauty if it's not practical and usable? Parang the way you approach spaces, you have to understand na these aren't just supposed to look good, but they also serve a purpose. Na hindi lang basta-basta naisipan mo maglagay ng magandang mesa, but it has to have its own functions. Like, will the user appreciate it kasi it has the right number of drawers, it has the right mechanism para it's easier for them to use. All these technical details that need to be factored in, especially when you do your designs. Well, actually, hindi siya more on the skill. Kasi this field can be learned. Oo. So, even given my background nga na nanggaling ako sa science high school, geared towards I'm more geared towards technical, scientific approaches. Pero I went into interior design kasi it's perfectly learnable. What's important instead of skill is mindset. Kasi when you enter into a course na you really want, it's something that you have to want all throughout your life na. It's not just something that you need to pass for the next 4 years para lang to appease your parents or para lang to follow yung uso. I respect those who chose the nursing field kasi talagang it's a very noble job. I also tried entering that pero it wasn't really for me. And it's important to have a discernment and ask God kung saan kanya papupuntahin. Kasi more than anything, for opportunities, if you are thinking na, magkakapera ba ako dito or will this secure my family, regardless of your circumstance, kung saan ka dadalhin ni Lord, He will provide and He will make you prosper as long as you are in His path. So, yun yung isa sa mga important decisions na kailangan mong gawin. And again, going back, aside from mindset then, isa ko pang idadagdag is yung you need to have an eye for detail. Parang you have to make sure na you are able to see things more than the surface level, be it in people, be it in products, multiple facets in life na you have to be detail-oriented. And it also helps if you have good communication and people skills. Kasi in our field, it's important na when you have a project, most of the projects that are incoming are based on recommendations, word of mouth, and syempre the way you interact with your client now will also affect yung pasok ng future projects mo. For the educational path, there isn't a specific one. Like I said, I came from a science high school and then I went to a art background na course. So there really isn't a parang law where you have to take pre-law or med where you have to take pre-med. So wala naman siyang specific na path to take, but I did see from some of my batchmates before na yung mga nanggaling sa school where they had drafting as a good starting place. Parang they had an upper hand when they started out kasi they already knew the basics of doing certain mechanical drawings. But eventually, we got to learn them then. So, I think in general, you don't have to go through a specific line of education para makapasok sa interior design. This is what I really held on to, Philippians 4:13. So, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And it has got me through a lot of challenges in my career, in life in general. So it's a good place to start. And interesting God that He holds our life in His hands, and the assurance that God is faithful in His plans for our lives. That's enough of a motivation to get me through any challenge. Nung pandemic, there was really a slowdown in construction projects back then. Talagang standstill kami. Even our company had to reduce the workforce kasi there were some concerns about projects not coming in, gano'n. And talagang our industry was impacted kasi walang construction during that time. So those are the things that we have to consider also. And I do pray that we don't experience another pandemic. But things happen. So yeah, that was one of the challenges back then. Healthy work-life balance. Well, work-life balance is far better now compared to before the pandemic. Kasi when I started working, I was really a workaholic. Talaga. Unintentional siya, but there was really a drive for me to complete my tasks na at the risk of my health and eventual safety. So, parang in my first job, I was so motivated, so on fire, na I lost track of what was important. In our field, kasi it's so easy to take pride in doing overtime, talagang really giving out your time, your effort. Kasi this is a passion-related field So, it's a validation of your passion if you work late. Example of instances where where I would consider myself a workaholic is when I would typically leave my office at around 1 a.m. and then travel back home kasi where I live, it's 2 hours away from it's 2 hours away from the office. My office is in Makati. I live in Quezon City, almost Fairview. So the travel time is really, really bad. So it's 2 hours per way. And I would usually get back home at around 3 a.m. and then wake up 7, travel, and then reach the office by 10. And then that cycle would go on for months. And then there was this one time, well, actually not one time, but in my travel going back home, I always fall asleep on the bus. And then there was this one time, pagdating ko sa bahay, I noticed yung pantalon ko, may hiwa na. So I was almost pickpocketed. Buti na lang, I was wearing a jeans back then na medyo matibay-tibay. Yung wallet ko naipit sa isa sa mga seams. So hindi nakuha from me. But that was a wake-up call for me na I was putting my life in danger. And I wasn't really thinking straight in terms of what to prioritize. And then, after a while, I started to mellow down. I would still do overtime depending on the deadline. But it was when the pandemic happened that everything changed. Kasi I realized it's not about the amount of time you put into your work, but it's based off on what you can accomplish given the amount of time that you only have and allocate. Parang during the pandemic, walang ginagawa yung mga tao, just thinking of survival, thinking of provision, parang all that time spent for work was not worth it. Kasi parang instead of enjoying or traveling, yung mga pinagpaliban ko, like experiencing a lot of things, spending more time with family. Parang I could have done more on hindsight. And the pandemic made me realize na I had to fix my priorities. It also gave me more time to talk to God and ask Him for guidance. Kasi during the pandemic, nothing was sure eh. Even our jobs weren't secured. So it brought me closer to God in a way in that He taught me where I should put my time, where I should put my focus. And of course, not all work is bad. Talagang ano siya, it's a part of life and it's a necessity. So parang, but the amount of time and where you put it in terms of your priority affects kung ano yung magiging ano niya, goal, ano yung magiging goal, ano yung magiging purpose niya sa buhay mo. Bale, I do have my professional goals of someday being a leader in the industry. There's still also the dream to be published in magazines, those accolades. But actually, surprisingly, isa sa mga dream ko pa din is to start my own food business. Andun pa rin yung dream ko na yun. Hindi ko lang na-mention earlier, pero that used to be the business my mom and dad had, delivering food for offices. So parang that was one of the things na parang gusto ko rin balikan eventually. Kasi ano siya I think it's one of my quote-unquote passion projects. Oo, eating and cooking. Oo. Yes, and but going back to my career, I still want to make an impact in the design industry and probably do more landmark projects, yung projects that people can appreciate for the years to come. Yung aking may papayo lang sa mga young ones na confused or hindi alam ano pa yung kukunin nila o tatahaking path in life, first and foremost is to pray. To ask God for guidance muna on what to take, what courses to get, what trainings or paths to do. It's very important to ask for guidance and wisdom kasi with God's plan, you can't go wrong. He will make sure that if you are under His wings, He will make sure that wherever you are planted, He will make you grow and prosper. And also, isa rin yung about yung limitations in terms of yung provisions, yung kakayanan, and what you have now. I want to remind the young ones who are starting their future na your state now is not going to be how you are in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Kumbaga, where you are at this point in life, God has a plan and a purpose, and He has plans for you to prosper. So, don't give up in chasing your dreams. Be open to people's suggestions, God's wisdom. Kasi sometimes God also chooses people around you to lead you to the right path. And at the same time, choose a path that you know you would enjoy. Kasi at the end of the day, what path you take will be the one will be the thing that you will hold on to. And it's something that you will live by. And it's important na you enjoy what you do.